So let's go through the process of making a rubric for an assignment. This is an assignment, a popular kind of an assignment where you ask a student to bring in an article from a newspaper or a magazine that's related to your lecture topic. So here's what we've asked the student to do. Find an article in a current magazine or newspaper related to the week's lecture topic. In one paragraph, summarize the article. In a second paragraph, discuss how the article relates to the week's topic. State why you think the article is important for future consideration in our discipline. Be prepared to share your article with the class. So here, there seems to be several different basic aspects to this assignment. First, it's find the article. And then in one paragraph, you're going to summarize the article. The student's going to summarize. And then in another paragraph, the student is going to discuss how it relates to the topic, the lecture. And then the student is asked to talk about why it's important for the discipline. So here we have some elements right away that we can put to work in our rubric. These are things that these are, elements of the assignment. So we can use these, we can judge these in the student's performance on these elements in our rubric. So I'm going to go ahead and just insert a table in Word. And I have three different criteria that I've started with. And I'm going to say what those criteria are. And then I know I'm going to give some perhaps have a description, and then I'm going to assign some possible points, and then I'm going to leave a space for student points. So you can see here, and then I need a header row for labeling. So I've made a table, as you can see, that's 4 boxes by 4 boxes to start, and we can always adjust that. So the first thing that I'm going to do is right here is I'm going to write in these criteria. So it says find an article in a current magazine or newspaper related to the week's lecture topic. So the first thing I can say, I guess, is that the article is related to the week's topic. We all know sometimes students don't find something that's related. It might be off topic, and we want to make sure that they are, in fact, getting a topic that's appropriate. The next criteria here in one paragraph summarize the article. So we want to have a summary. So I'm going to write here that it's a one paragraph summary of the article, and we probably want to say that it is thorough and accurate. This is one of the things I try to work. I'm a writing teacher, but I'm always trying to work on with students is that it's complete and that it is accurate, that they really got the facts right. And when you're asking students to summarize, that's probably the key criteria, the key skill that you want them to develop. This third piece says state why you think the article is important for future consideration in our discipline. So here, I guess I've got to think of some language on how I'm going to assess this. How am I going to talk about this? So I'm going to say strong case is made for why topic of article is important for future consideration in the discipline. Now, one of the things that I like to do is I do like to reuse the language that I have in the assignment, because that way the students have they know what they're being graded on. I'm reinforcing the actual assignment itself. So now that I've gone and got these, I'm going to take out the highlighting. And then, you might decide that you're going to add some other area. Sometimes I just add a score for assignment is on time and professional So for me, that might be, it's printed, it's not handwritten, it's typed, excuse me, and it's clean, all those sorts of things. So over here, I'm putting up here. This is the criteria for the grade. And then over here, I'm going to now decide on what the possible number of points the student can get for each of these criteria. And they're not, in my case, I'm not going to give the same number of points for the assignment being on time as I am going to for the summary and the strong cases made. So that the article is related to the week's topic, again, I sort of expect that, so I'm just going to give 10 points for that. And that it's on time and it's professional. Again, I'm probably going to say, well, maybe 15 points for that. So that's 25 points. Or maybe I want to make it be 15 here. So that's 30 points. And that leaves me with 60 points. And that allows me to give 60 points for what I consider to be the meat of the assignment. So here I've given what the potential score is for this assignment. I've decided, this is what the students can earn for points for this assignment. And over here in this column, I call this your points. And this is where I'm going to tally their points and I'm going to be able to give them a number. So the potential here is 100, and then they're going to have the ability to get, the number of points that they earn out of these 100 points. So now what I am left with is just simply a description of what I mean by these separate criteria. So what do I mean when I say the article is related to the week's topic, that sort of thing. So I'm just going to pause for a minute so you don't have to watch, and I'll fill this in and come back in just a moment and show you what I came up with. Okay, so I'm back with some examples of how I crafted this rubric with a little more language. Here was my criteria. The article is related to the week's topic. So I've described now what exactly I mean for the student. Your article should pertain closely to the topic assigned in the course reading and scheduled to be covered in lecture that week. For example, if the week's topic is development, your article might be about autistic children learning to sign. So I've used an example in that case. The one paragraph summary of the article is thorough and accurate. That's my criteria, and I've described what I mean by that. Thoroughly read through your article several times so you are sure you understand it. Your summary should cover all the main points in your article. You should be sure that details, facts, and figures are carefully copied so there are no errors in number or logic. Be sure people's names are spelled correctly. Include names of researchers and the institutions they are affiliated with. So I am going into a lot of detail here, but the reason that I'm doing that is because when I use this rubric to grade, I'm going to have this space down here where I can give students some comments. This is going to be my comments section. But that's it. After that, I'm going to simply give them a number of points out of possible points. So this is where they get the information about what my expectation is. So I'm giving them 30 points for achieving this. If they don't achieve this and they only end up with 12 points here, then they're going to understand that this is what they would have had 30 points for achieving this. So I'm setting my standard here in this description. When I grade, this allows me to just simply go through, take a look at what they've submitted. I know what the standard is and the possible points are. So for me, it's a really easy grading tool as well. I just simply award points, add them up, and give them a numerical grade. I distribute the rubric beforehand so that the students can see ahead of time what is expected of them. And that way they're clear beforehand about the expectations. I've made my expectations clear, and it makes grading for me a lot easier. And I feel like even for something that's sort of a small weekly assignment, I'm giving them really clear expectations, and it helps me really sort of maintain those college level standards that I'm trying to enforce in my classes. So, that's a little summary of how to get or how to create a rubric, and you're going to have a chance to try that for yourself.